I want to bring your attention to an article from Natural News that came out Tuesday, March 14th, 2017, which is yesterday, article written by Robert Jonathan. The naturalnews.com is ran by Mike Adams, and I highly recommend that you get subscribed to naturalnews.com. Mike is bringing the freshest news about vaccinations, vaccine industry, about GMO industry, about homeschooling, or anything that is going wrong with our society. And with this, I want to thank Mike here on my channel. I want to thank you, Mike, personally for your service to humanity. But I want to bring your attention to vaccine warning for vegans. I am a vegan, about 1 month vegan. Before that, I was for 2 years a vegetarian. And it never occurred to me really that there is a danger for vegans in vaccines, although I'm very much anti-vaccines, especially because what happened to my son after MMR, and I researched for past 13 years vaccination industry. And I am an activist against vaccine, and I always recommend not to vaccinate. And my daughter was never vaccinated after what I went through with my son. So he was kind of like a guinea pig for me. But I was a nurse, educated nurse from East Europe, and brainwashed in nursing school that vaccines are the best, that they are protecting us. So that's all I knew. And then, of course, came time when I had my own child, and Ethan, my son, was regularly vaccinated since birth. And when he was a year and a half, I allowed them to inject him with MMR, and my son almost died. Thankfully, he was saved by naturopathic doctor in Alabama, where I took him the second day after vaccinations, and we did some very heavy-duty vaccine detox, and I went on search. And while I was searching, I came across Dr. Sherry Tenpenny and her lectures, and I stayed glued to the computer at that time, and I watched every single of her lectures, and then I did research on medical studies about vaccines, and I found out that vaccines not only don't work and are not effective, but they have extremely evil agenda with vaccines. So if you are a vegan or vegetarian, which I know a lot of you are that watch my channel, you are mostly vegetarians, some of you are vegans, but also not only vegans and vegetarians. Some of you go by kosher law, and you are meat eaters. However, you will never touch an unclean animal. A lot of Christians today are going back to kosher law, and they are only eating clean animals. Clean as by definition from the Bible, from the Old Testament. So vaccines are not only anti-vegan or anti-vegetarian, they are anti-kosher. They're basically not kosher at all. And this is why I don't understand why there is not outrage and outcry from Christian community and Jewish community about vaccines. Maybe because we are misinformed or disinformed, or we just simply don't know. So I am bringing this to light. This is an excellent article, Vaccine Warning for Vegans. Vaccines are made with a cocktail of animal parts, human fetal tissue cell lines, and African monkey cells. Now, I would add to that title here, they're also made from pig blood. And you hear it right, pig blood is used in vaccines. So there should be an outcry from Christian and Jewish community. There are 3 types of fetal cell lines used in vaccines. They're called RA273. And RA273 was isolated from aborted fetus that was sent to the Wistar Institute in 1964 during rubella outbreak. They basically cultured a rubella virus from a fetus, aborted because the mother was infected with rubella. Now, the RA273 is inside MMR vaccine and chickenpox vaccine. Now, back then, when my son received his MMR, doctor who injected him, she told me that this is a thimerosal-free vaccine. And the vaccine basically had no mercury. However, my son still got very sick and he almost died from the vaccine. And then I found out that even thimerosal-free MMR vaccines contain antifreeze that can have a very similar effects as mercury does. But I sure didn't know back then that it has fetal cell lines as well. So my son was injected by human fetal cell lines, and I'm not happy about that at all. Well, another fetal cell line is called WI38, and this one is also in MMR, in chickenpox, and chickenpox and MMR, when they're mixed together, it's called Proquad vaccine. Another fetal cell line has a name, MRC5, and it is inside chickenpox, MMR, hepatitis A vaccine, DTP, polio vaccine, and rabies vaccine. Now, besides all that, we have a genetically engineered human albumin that is inside MMR vaccine, and a human DNA in chickenpox, MMR, and hepatitis A vaccine. Now, these fetal cell lines came from aborted baby that was only 3 months old inside the womb. So, as you can see, this is definitely against anything and everything that Jewish people or Christian people believe. So this is becoming a religious issue now. I believe it is. And of course, if you are a vegan or a vegetarian, watch out. You are getting animal parts, human fetal tissue cell lines, monkey blood, pig blood, and so on. Now, on the other hand, I have a good news. I was able to locate Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and she finally emailed me back, and we are working on a time where we can meet together through Skype and do some online interview that would be posted on my channel. But it will only happen in the month of April after our Israeli trip. So please stay tuned to my channel. I'll be coming back about vaccines, and I am also going to interview a doctor here in Czech Republic that is speaking against vaccines. So I cannot wait to hear her side of the story. Thank you for watching. I am Jana Benun from Rise Up Children of God.